see that again. Step back. Let's see
that. Oh, they gotta see it again. Okay, I got you. Hold on.
We gotta see that one more time.
Hold on.
It's a whole vibe. Woo! Okay. I like
Legends,
that.
right?
That's what's up. That's what's up. People are checking in. Thank you for checking. Let us know where you're checking in from. Oh, wow. I love that. It's a whole vibe. I like it. I like it a lot. How you been, though?
Man, I've been crazy, but like in a good way. I'm not even mad, you know?
Yeah. Welcome to
How you been?
Welcome to
I mean, thanks for having me.
No, I had to, man, because you know, like I've been doing this Black woman-owned business spotlight for a minute, and I took a little break, but it was just like with everything going on, especially like right around this season, I just feel like it was time to bring it back because we get close to the holiday season and everything. You know what I'm saying? And in my own little way, just supporting Black woman-owned businesses, and I thought, you know what I'm saying, like we got to get you on the show.
Listen, I'm happy to be here. You know, anytime anybody thinks about little old me, I am humble.
Nah, but see, you're a lot of things. So a lot of people that don't know. First of all, you're a force. That's the one word that I want to use. Like that covers just about everything. You're a force. You're a singer-songwriter. You're a stylist. You're a creative director. You know, you're all of these things. But I want to ask you this because you know how somebody could be a director that acts and sings and dances, but so like for you, what are you? What's the main thing that you would call yourself?
A creative.
A creative. I like that.
A creative. Yeah, because you know it's multifaceted. I don't think you can put Black women in one box ever. Like, and I think, you know, we could go down the list, but at the end of the day, I'm a creative. And so in whatever ways I can create and also create opportunities for other people, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I love it. Now, listen, I got a lot of questions for you, man.
First
of all, I just want to say congrats on because you just rolled out a new venture, like it's a new spot on Melrose Avenue in LA. It's called Femme Shop LA. Am I saying it right? Yes. Talk to us about that because you guys have only been there a couple of days.
That's right. So this activation is a 90-day activation where I'm bringing in my network from literally all over the country. So Miami's represented, DC's represented, Richmond's represented, Brooklyn's represented, the Bronx is represented. You know, of course, LA and different parts of California, period, are also participating in the program. So 90-day activation of literally just centering Black-owned, women-owned businesses, and a lot of them are just my personal favorites. You know what I'm saying? And then also just people that have been on my journey that have just been exceptional as brands and as beings, you know, in the world. So this is not something that we're just going to do one time. This is something that's going to be ongoing and that we are going to activate in multiple cities.
I love it. Now, see, I meant to always ask you, man, can you take us back to like the beginning for you? How did you get started like doing all of this? Because the reason I bring that up is it's a lot of, but before I ask you that, take us back to the beginning. How was it getting started for you?
Man, okay. Where do we even start? Man, okay, so, all right, let's start like fresh out of college. The singing and songwriting situation that I was in at the time, because I was signed from a very young age, like 18. Like 18 to like 22, 23.
So this was like an actual record deal, like a record.
Yeah, this was a deal. This was like a whole deal. And it was through an independent label out of Delaware at the time. It was, you know, gospel. So, you know, my background was like, of course, church, all of that kind of stuff. Now, when that didn't work, I had to kind of figure out, because I had kind of planned my life around, you know, that working at the time. And so then when it fell apart and, you know, all the ladies that were in it kind of went, not their separate ways, but I was the youngest. So everyone else was, you know, married, kids, like starting families, like getting And my mind was not, and clearly is still not on that. So I was like, I want to build something for myself. I want to create. And, you know, I kind of fell into the whole vintage. I had a love for like vintage jewelry, vintage accessories, vintage clothing. And my grandmother in Miami had been a collector, a seller, you know, a maker for like over 40 years. So her collection was deep, meaning like dead stock, still had the price tags on it, still jewelry, still in original packaging, right?
Yeah.
So imagine someone receiving like bags upon bags, like 40-gallon bags of that. Like,
wow.
Me, that was like her investment, you know, into what I was doing.
Right.
So I went to college campuses, you know, I was at Virginia State, like that was kind of like my spot, you know, literally was popping the trunk, and then it kind of just really blew up.
Yeah.
This girl, you know, that I had come across, like she was like, hey, you know, you can add on clothing and this can become this. And then I was like, okay. And then I noticed people started asking me, well, how are you putting this together? Like, can you style me for this thing? And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm a stylist now. You know what I'm saying? So then I went on to like being connected with the different celebrities and shooting all over the country and going back and forth to New York and DC. And I mean, it was like a ride. Like, you know, programming started being created out of that. I did Shoot and Shop, which was before pop-up markets and before pop-up shops, you know, was a thing. Like, we did that in New York, and my focus was making sure that, you know, artists were paid their worth. Like, so, you know, we could pay photographers and MUAs and videographers and stylists at the time what they were worth and what they demanded, you know, in this way. So that was just the start of the programming, and then it just, you know, grew and grew and grew, and then here we are.
So what celebrity? Let's know what celebrities you work with. What some of the celebrities you work with?
Beyonce was the craziest that happened more recently. Yeah. I was on an NDA for 2 years, couldn't say a word. Like that was wild, because I was working on, it was a woman in Brooklyn that brought me into the project. Her name is Susie, or African Creature is what most of the internet
I know
knows.
African Creature, yeah.
Yeah, so she just brought me into this thing. She was like, all right, we gotta put you on the NDA. And I'm like, what, for real? No. Like, I was like, nah. And then when it came out, like, which was literally recently, like, we just were able to speak about this like a month or two ago.
So a lot of people, not to cut you off, but you're like, I've talked to a bunch of people that have actually worked with her, and for people that don't know, explain what that NDA is all about, like, for people that don't know.
Yeah, so a non-disclosure agreement means you cannot say anything to anybody. Like, you can't describe it, you can't say who it's for, you can't say what it is. You can literally say nothing. It is a pinky promise, swear, all that. Legally binding. You know, that if you say a peep, you will be sued. Like, that's it. Yeah. So it's basically a document that, you know, legally binds you to keep a secret.
So what did you do? Did you design an outfit for her? What did you do exactly?
No. So I was a person that had to source the piece that the outfit was made out of.
Raise your camera a little bit so we can, because your head has been cut up, so we can see you clearly. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I was the person that had to source the piece that they built the outfit out of. Like, so African Creature and her braiding, you know, salon team, they did like these crazy braided dress designs, you know what I'm saying, on top of this garment. And so I was responsible for going to source and get the garment, you know, that they built the item on. So it was wild, you know, it was a lot of pressure. I also had to go and shop for some accessories and some beadings and some like knick-knack things that were a part of it as well. So it was pressure, you know what I'm saying? It was pressure.
So, did you meet her? Did y'all meet?
No, I didn't know. This was like completely, you know what I'm saying, on some, you're doing this for this person, here's your contract. Did not meet her yet, which is like the crazier thing. You know what I'm saying?
Now, but see, either way, that goes in your resume though. Like you can always say, listen,
yeah, like, you know, not that I don't care about that, but it didn't make me no number, you know, no number 9. So I just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But no, but yeah, African Creature has, you know, been working on her and her sisters like hair for years. You know what I'm saying? So their bond is dope. And I wasn't even in New York. So, you know, even if it was a possibility at the time, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? By that time, when we dropped the news, I was in LA. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was that.
I want to let you know, people are checking in. She's in Mix said, we love Andrea. Like, I'm just letting you know, people are checking in.
Yeah, she's one of our vendors, man. Right. She's one of our vendors at the Fem Shop LA, man. She has amazing lashes, though. Vegan, cruelty-free. Thank you, sis, for popping in. That's dope.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, you know, a lot of people always say, I mean, everybody has merch these days. Everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. Did you ever think about that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the market is so many people already in the market. Like, did you ever feel that way going in?
Not at all. I think it one, when you go to the bread aisle, come on now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at literally 50 to 100 different types of bread, if not more. Yeah. So I always thought about it in the sense of that there's always going to be somebody that wants your product. There's always going to be a market for what you're selling. Yeah. And I honestly was always the person that wasn't ever worried about what anybody else was doing. You know, I was like, I'm going to, you know, walk my race, run my race, walk it, you know, stay my pace and worry about me and my black-owned business. That's what I was.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it. Now, let me ask you, so when it comes to challenges, what are some of the challenges that you encountered? Because, you know, starting a business, you know, is not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are some of the challenges you encountered along the way, and how were you able to overcome those challenges?
I would say the number one challenge, I think, for just Black and women-owned businesses, just I can say Black businesses across the board, is finding capital, you know, to start. And so having these grand, big ideas and trying to figure out how am I going to fund this? Yeah. You know, who's going to invest in me, et cetera, et cetera. And I never really got investors, right? Like for me, it was always, you know what, I'll go over here and work this job for a month or two just to get, you know, the $1,000 or the $500, whatever I needed at the time to meet the need of me wanting to expand in the business. Like, I think people put too much emphasis on not working for the man, you know, but sometimes you do need to have something when you can't depend on anyone else in that moment, you know what I'm saying, to start. So, you know, and I always said to, you know, new and upcoming business owners, don't be afraid to start small. Like starting with $500 to $1,000 is fine, because that's what you get to focus in on, that 1 or 2 projects that you're doing, and you get to do it well. Yeah. Then when it starts rolling and starts, you know, getting more familiarity and popularity, whatever, and making more money for you, then you expand, you know what I'm saying, when you can afford it. But don't be afraid, you know, to start small. I think that for me helped me along the way a lot, you know.
Two things you said that really stood out for me. You kind of touched on a 9 to 5, you know, working for the man. The reason I bring that up is because I feel like recently on social media, the 9 to 5 is getting a lot of, you know, saying a lot of heat. There's so many people.
It's a lot of hate. Yeah.
You know, yeah, because I think it's important, because I've always said that, you know, some of us are going to make our millions working for other people. And I want you to, because people need to understand that owning a business is not for everybody.
Yes.
And it's nothing, right.
It is not. And so for me, because it was ingrained in me to be independent, it was so crazy, because I grew up in a very military household. So I had 2 military parents, military and Air Force. Right. So them raising this wild, audacious musician, artistic child was never their plan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was never, they always had in their mind structure. But for me, it was structure plus creativity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And creativity was at the forefront, you know, of what I wanted in my structure. So my mom it kind of clicked in for her early on that, oh, I need to put her in some small business class. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Invest in your kids, y'all. Like, believe in their little small dreams while they're small and make them grow. But outside of that, you know, I don't think that it's bad to have a 9-to-5. I think it's okay to have a cushion, but just make sure that you can manage your creativity within that. You know what I'm saying? Because some people have 9-to-5s where they can be creative. You know what I'm saying? And they can have fun.
Yeah.
And if it works for you in that way, do that until you can step away from it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Within your own business.
Yeah.
And there have been many times on my journey where I had to, you know, contract myself, you know, for something that I may or may not wanted to do as much.
Yeah.
Just to grab that quick bag to do what I wanted to do with my own business. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think
now there's something you touched on when you were starting out, going to just different places. I know that in this business, whether like as a business owner, whether you're in like entertainment, whatever it is, there's always this pressure of like, you know, looking at what everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? And feeling like, you know what, that's where I'm trying to get to, but I'm not there yet. Now, you know, you're blessed. You've grown a lot in such a short time, and it took up. How did you manage that, not comparing yourself to other people, you know, like just saying, you know, I'm just starting out, I'm trying to get here, but in the meantime, in between time, just that encouragement to keep going. You know what I mean? How did you go through that season? How did you get through that season for you?
You know, for me, whenever I started to, you know, whenever I found myself sinking into that place of starting to compare myself to other people and what their timelines were, their accomplishments were, etc., I will always click into feeding myself positive things. So whether that was me listening to a Young Van Zandt or something inspirational, like there were days at a time where that was all that was playing in my ears. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there's too much access to things that can uplift you in those deep, dark moments to where you're second-guessing your gifts and who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. There's too many free resources at that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody doesn't have access to therapy. Yes, I 100% recommend that if you can afford it, if it's on your insurance, please take advantage of that, y'all. Yeah. But the people that don't have access to that, you have YouTube, which has free videos, you know, music, inspirational points of references, you know what I'm saying, for days and years and months at a time. Seriously, dig deep into that, because that is really what pulled me out of those spaces of, you know, that thinking.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because a lot of times people say, well, you know, I want you to speak to how important it is to emphasize excellence and quality in everything you do. Because sometimes people say, well, you know, it's only 2 people, it's only 5 people, it's not a lot of people seeing it. But one of the things I believe is you never know who's watching. So whether you're doing it for an audience of 5 or 5 million, like you have to place emphasis on quality and excellence. And I want you to speak to how important that is, even you starting out, like even from that early stage, you were on, because I've seen the product and the product was good. You know what I mean? Like, and the reason I said, people say, oh, you know, ain't nobody really going to see it. But for you, you wasn't thinking that because you didn't even know you have an opportunity to work with Beyonce or her team. And I want you to speak to how important that is, whether you're small or big, whatever level you are, focus on excellence.
So I've always been a stickler for excellence and like just product presentation, colors, a great logo. Like, you know, you guys, when you all are starting out, like you have these resources like Canva and Creative Market where you can go and create quality designs. You know what I'm saying? Not, you know, your cousin or somebody, friend, you know, scribbling something up for you real quick. Like, you can really create dope, like this right here. This is made on Canva, y'all.
Yeah. Well, what does it say? Black as fuck. Like it. I love it.
Period.
Yeah, I love it.
I made it on Canva. You know what I'm saying? Like my Protect Black Women shirt, I made that on Canva. And Nick Cannon and all these, you know, individuals have now been in it. It's just the way you present it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much money, but I feel like people get lost in that part of it. Like, oh, I don't have enough to pay for a logo. Guess what? You don't have to pay for a logo. You can go make you a logo on Canva. They have all these presets, all the colors, all the designs, all the things are really already there. It just takes, you know, someone to tell you like, hey, go do this over here. And that's another thing. We need to start sharing resources and stop being afraid of somebody taking our stuff. It can't be taken from you. Yeah. Whatever's for you will always be for you. Man. Like 110%. Yeah. But like for me, I always showed up. A lot of things that people miss as far as opportunities, they miss them because they don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't show up. Oh, I'm on the way. I'm coming. Da, da, da. If you're an hour late, you late. It's done. The opportunity's gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you come in the last hour of the situation, it's gone. It's done. It's gone. Yeah. It's so just show up, y'all. Like a lot of the things that we see that are out there, like show up for yourselves, show up for your business. Like me meeting African Creature, I think I met her like one time on the fly. And that was at Afropunk. Now, Afropunk has, you know, some testy situations right now with their reputation. But before it got to that point, that was the place where Black creatives got together and networked. It was never about the shows at Afropunk, y'all. Like, it was never about the music and entertainment. It was about Black creatives getting together and sharing their resources. I can't tell you how many times I went there, like 3 years in a row. Yeah. And all of these amazing opportunities, you know what I'm saying, came out of that. But if we're sitting at home watching Netflix or just not going to these things because we think, you know what I'm saying, we're overthinking it, then you won't get to that. You know, you won't meet the photographer that you need to meet. You won't meet that makeup artist. You won't meet, you know what I'm saying, that stylist or that designer that you need to meet to make your dream get to the next point. Just show up. That's really what it is. Amen. Just show up.
I got a few questions, a few more questions before I let you go tonight. Now, I had an opportunity of just, you know, checking out the page, and you got a few clothing lines and jewelry lines coming out. I want you to speak on them. One of the ones that really stood out for me was the Motherland collection. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want you to talk about the clothing line and that jewelry line, because that I think is really dope, and people need to go check it out. I love it.
So the Motherland collection, like everybody, you know, kind of knows me like for my jewelry and like, you know, bangles and, you know, I don't know. You can see the Africa situation, but that's like the most popular thing that I've been wearing for years. And people have always asked me, oh my God, where'd you get that? Can I get that? And I've always been like, and I've kept it to myself. Yeah. So now you do have the opportunity to be able to, you know, purchase those things. I have a master jeweler working on them, actually Sika, renowned master jeweler out here in Los Angeles, California. And, you know, he's been working on the adjustments. So now they're all going to be adjustable, you know, instead of like a one size deal. So it's going to be, they're all unisex, so you don't have to worry about sizing. The Black as Fuck, you know, the hoodies, you guys can DM these. Okay, so.
Raise your camera. Raise your camera. So we can see the face. Yeah.
I always do this, sorry. So the Black as Fuck, you know, hoodies and t-shirts, you guys can either DM me about those or order those online, www.butterbabes.com. That's
hold on, say that one more time. Get them website one more time so they don't miss it.
www.butterbabes.com. So it's BUTTAHBABEZ.com. That's also at the link in my bio, so you guys can, you know, see what's available on there. I will say that the tees and the hoodies have moved, so I was literally doing inventory before I got on one with you. So they moved so quickly. Just DM me before, you know what I'm saying, you head to the website and be like, this is it. Is my size in there? Because I don't want y'all having to wait, you know, an extended amount of time. So there's that. And then there are assorted things too, like my Butter Babes, actual, like, which is the skin and hair care, shea butter line, oils, etc. That's all on the website as well. So
now there's something I got 2 more questions before I let you go.
Okay.
Protect Black women. You know,
Yeah.
I want you to speak to how important that is, because, you know, on one hand, you have people saying, what do you mean protect Black women? Are you trying to say that Black women can't protect themselves? And I want you to speak to, and this is coming from you as a Black woman, when you say protect Black women, because recently, you know, I don't know if you heard about the whole thing with Meek and the whole the tour bus and everything and the artwork, and everybody saying that there's this white dude that was saying Black women, is this what y'all want? And, you know, and I want, because I feel like a lot of times, I used to always say this, that the Black woman stands for everyone, but no one stands for the Black woman. You know, and I want you to speak, when you say protect Black women, from a Black woman's perspective, what do you mean?
So that is a multifaceted statement.
Right.
So financially, spiritually, physically, emotionally, like, that's the space that I'm speaking from. Right. Because it's not enough to just protect me, you know, physically, if we're out somewhere and something happens. If I'm in a relationship with you, whether that's a personal relationship or we're just friends, or we're doing business, you know, make sure that it makes sense for us to be in business. So that's the financial standpoint. If I'm in a relationship with you personally, make sure that I'm taken care of, you know what I'm saying, in that relationship. Because yes, I'm independent. Yes, I can provide for myself, et cetera, et cetera. But us joining, you know, in union and relationship, and on that level, to me, we should be protecting one another for sure, you know. And so then the spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect, like, you should not be a stressor in my life. You know what I'm saying? I should be at peace. Yeah. You know, we should be able to function in peace with one another, whether it's a personal relationship or just a friendship or a business relationship, etc. Like, it should not be chaotic, because it doesn't have to be, you know? So I speak from all of those aspects, because it's not just, you know what I'm saying, one thing when I speak about protection.
So before I let you go, I told you I got 2 more. That's I got 1 more. It's the last one.
This guy.
If you can share with us right quick, top 5 lessons in having been in business as long as you've been starting out and growing to this level. Top 5 lessons that you can share with someone right now who maybe is in business or is getting ready to start something. What would you share that you've learned thus far?
Just do it.
Do it.
Do not be afraid to do it. Like, you know, eliminate the fear. Focus on positivity, you know, throughout the journey. Like, focus on what you are doing rather than what you're not doing. Yeah. You know, create great relationships with people. Everything that I've done and accomplished has been because I've had great relationships with people. So my reputation and all of that has, you know, preceded me into most of these positions. You know what I'm saying? Just having those relationships, whatever you do, make sure you don't burn unnecessary bridges. Because some bridges need to be burned. But some of them do. But, you know, don't burn unnecessary bridges, especially if it's someone that is a light. And, you know, if it's a 70-30, 70 positive, 30 like, you know what I'm saying? Let's, whatever, because everybody gonna have a little 30% and be like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
You know what I'm saying? But if it's like a strong, positive, like solid 70%, roll with it, because we all gonna have our stuff. Yeah. I think I would say lastly, don't be afraid of partnerships and collaborations. I cannot open the store, run the store, curate the store, staff the store. You know what I'm saying? Create products in my store by myself. I can why would I do that?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know I said that was the last one, but this is the Hey, I've been wanting to let you go, but you keep talking and I keep having more questions. You know, but no, for real though, this is the last one. Listen.
Okay.
Next 5 years, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Next 5, I'll be 35. I was about to say marriage and a baby. What the hell? Andrea, stop that.
Well, no, there's not right with that though. That's good.
Ooh, hold on, everybody pause.
Why you do like that? Like it's a bad
thing. You see what? But you see how girls be like trained, like in their mind?
Right.
Marriage, baby, like whoa. It sounds good, sis.
Right.
whoa.
Hello.
Like, everybody pause. Found the play. Hold on. Wait. No, what I really want to say is, I'd like for this program.
Raise your camera up.
Oh, I'd like for this program to have been extended into multiple cities, multiple locations.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a solid staff by then to where I could honestly go off and kind of really do my music. And, you know what I'm saying? And this just be, a functioning thing because, some of the dopest players on my team right now are amazing, lyricists, rappers, musicians, engineers, etc. And we're all, I feel like, grinding because in the next 5 to 10, we want to be able to step back and really work, in the creative spaces, of music and expressing ourselves because we've been giving so much to the rest of the world and in our communities, everywhere that they are. So I know that's going to be my focus in the next 5 years.
That's dope. I got like 20 more questions, but we're gonna save that.
I know you do.
we're gonna say that for next time because we didn't really talk about your music, but we're gonna bring you back though for real. I'm probably gonna be in LA, I don't know, before the end of the year because the new series, a new show that we're getting ready to start filming. So I'm definitely gonna come through the spot, check it out.
Please.
I love it. I love what I see on the gram. I love the whole product and everything. I love your whole, all that you got going on. It's a vibe. I love it. And we want to thank you for coming on the show again, and we wish you the best in everything you do. We're gonna post this again, let people know what's going on. But really, thank you so much. Keep doing you, and we love it, and we're gonna keep supporting it. All right.
Thank you for having me, man. Seriously. All right. I'll be looking forward to seeing you when you get here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. Have a good night. All right.
You too. All right. Peace, y'all.